The question we're going to look at today is, what is a fraction? A fraction is a way to represent a proportion in between whole values. To do this, we split the object or the value into smaller, equal-sized pieces. So when I have a fraction, I'm talking about what proportion of the whole I'm looking at. For example, if I had a pizza and I had 3 others who wanted to share it, I might want to cut it into 4 parts. Wait a minute, slices 1 and 2 are both only 1 out of the 4 pieces. But slice 1 is quite a bit bigger, and so it's a larger proportion of the whole pizza. In order for a fraction to make sense, we need to have all the pieces the same size. So I'm going to recut it and make them all the same size. Now, when I'm describing the amount of pizza that I would get, I would look at it as 1/4. The number on the bottom, which is called the denominator, tells you how many equal-sized pieces it was split into. The number on the top, which is called the numerator, is how many of those pieces you're talking about. So, my part of the pizza was 1 out of the 4 slices, or 1/4. Now, let's expand on this example. I'm going to invite over more people, so I ordered 6 pizzas for the gathering. I carefully cut each of the pieces into 8ths. After the party, I had 11 slices left. Now, before I can figure out what proportion of the pizza I have left, I need to decide what to consider the whole to be. Do I want to know the fraction I have left out of all the slices they were originally? If so, then I had 48 slices, and so the leftover amount would be 11 out of the 48 slices. But what if I want to know how much of a pizza I have left? That would be 11/8 of a pizza, since the pizza was cut into 8 slices. If I have more pieces than I cut the pizza into, then I have more than 1 pizza. So in this case, I have 11/8 or 1 3/8 pizzas left. When dealing with fractions, it's important to keep track of what the denominator or the bottom number represents. What are we calling whole? It doesn't matter whether I'm looking at all the pieces I started with, or if I'm only thinking about how much of 1 pizza I had. One way is not necessarily better than the other, but the 2 situations describe different proportions. Sometimes our whole is actually a group of related objects. For example, I bought a bag of candy and it contains 30 pieces. A natural choice might be to split the whole, in this case represented by the entire bag, into 30 equal groups, each with 1 candy. When I separated the candy by color, I found there were 12 red candies. If I want to write this as a fraction, I would have 12 as my numerator, and my denominator would be represented by the total number of candies there were, or 30. So my fraction would be 12 out of 30. Using the same kind of reasoning, I can look at the number of blue candies and say there would be 10 out of the 30, or 10/30ths, and the number of green candies, which would be 8/30ths. Another place that you'll often see fractions is in measurement. So let's say I found this cool bug and I wanted to see how long it was. It looked to be about 1 inch, so I compared its length to 1 inch. But I noticed it's a bit smaller than 1 inch. I want a better estimate on how big this bug is, so I'm going to cut my inch in half. But the bug is bigger than 1/2 inch, so I'm going to cut each of those halves in halves, giving me 4ths, or 4 equal pieces. Now I'm getting closer, but I can get a better estimate. So I'm going to cut those 4ths into half, giving me 8 equal pieces, which of course is 8ths. And I look and I see that the bug is about 7/8 of an inch long. When we're in math, we often take our numbers and we place them onto a number line. This helps us see the relation between that number and other numbers. So, if I had the number 4 3/10 and I wanted to graph it, I would first think about what that number represents. This number is bigger than 4, but less than 5. I would then need to divide the spaces between 4 and 5 into 10 equal parts, since 10 was my denominator. And then I would put a dot 3/10 of the way to 5. Hopefully these examples have helped you understand fractions better.